ask ChatGPT for some JSON, and you use the API connector or you use a Bubble plugin, and you get back some JSON, but you then want to get that JSON into the database. So this is a sort of JSON that ChatGPT could return. So if I had a prompt which was get a list of 6 colors with a complementary color as an array of objects with attributes of primary and complementary, and return the list as JSON without any explanation, if I run that, I return some JSON, and that's great. But now I want to get that JSON into my Bubble database. So this is, you pass the JSON return from the previous step, and you can use whatever the API connector, or you can use someone else's plugin, doesn't really matter. But here now you can see that we've got green and magenta, red, cyan, so you can see how this JSON has been converted into something that's in the database. And on the back end, you need to set up some recursive workflows to process each of the rows. So basically what is happening is this JSON gets converted into lists, and then you can process the lists into the Bubble database. And this explains how to do that, and I'll just illustrate that. So in this example app won't work because it's a free Bubble app, and you can't use backend workflows on a free sample app. But there's some examples in here. So if you go into the backend workflows, you can see this is the sort of thing you would do, and it says create a new JSON to columns. So and then we pass into it the lists that came from the plugin, and we iterate through those lists, and then this is the recursive loop. So once it's done one insert, it comes back and does the other insert until everything's been processed. So it does consume Woo because it is a back-end plugin and it is inserting things in the database. So here's what, when you click on the button, step 2, this is the step that runs it here. So we take in this particular case it deletes the previous example because I don't want to store everyone's results, but convert the JSON to lists, pass it in the value from the OpenAPI call, and then pass it off to the backend workflow to process into the database. So that's really how it works. If something goes wrong, capture this debug information and send it to me, and I'll fix the plugin, because this is the shape of the JSON it expects. So I've kind of it doesn't really matter what the names of the attributes are in the JSON, but it's expecting a list of objects, and it will then process up to 5 of the attributes of the objects in this list. If you want more than 5, let me know, and I'll make the plugin do more. If you're finding that you can't get this shape of JSON to process, let me know, and I'll see if I can adapt the plugin to the JSON that you're getting back from your prompts.